Let me guess, the last time your day exploded, it wasn't because of some villain plotting against you. Nope, it started with one tiny word.
Assume.
Your spouse sends you a text.
We need to talk.
And in your head, boom, you've already written a 3-season Netflix drama. Betrayal, heartbreak, courtroom scenes, all before dinner. Reality? They just want to pick a new wall paint. But hey, at least your brain got an Emmy nomination. Or at work, your boss says,
I need this ASAP.
and like some corporate superhero, you drop your lunch, burn your keyboard, and work like it's a 5-alarm fire. Then you find out, ASAP meant before Friday. Congratulations, you just pulled an all-nighter for nothing. Hero cape, wasted. And my personal favorite, the classic friend text.
I'm almost there.
You assume 5 minutes. So you put on your shoes, wait at the gate like a loyal dog, and 25 minutes later, they're still in the shower. But hey, at least your loyalty got tested. See, that's the thing about assumptions. They're fast, they're invisible, and they're expensive. They don't just cost us time, they cost us peace, trust, and sometimes relationships. You don't even notice it happening until the chaos arrives like an unwanted guest. So for the next few minutes, I'm not handing out a self-help manual. I'm not giving you steps, hacks, or therapy. I'm just holding up a mirror. Because I want you to see the tiny little habit that detonates perfectly normal days. We'll laugh at the wreckage, wince at our own greatest hits, and maybe, just maybe, spot the moment where a single question could have saved the drama. Ready? Deep breath. Let's walk together, right past that little window where chaos loves to sneak in. You ever notice how the biggest messes in life rarely come from grand decisions, but from those tiny little leaps of faith we call assumptions? It's like leaving the front door wide open and then acting shocked when a goat wanders into your living room. Assumptions don't knock. They just stroll in, track mud everywhere, and sometimes eat your curtains. Let's be honest. Every adult, husbands, wives, office warriors, parents, even that uncle who thinks he's seen it all, has had their day wrecked by one small assumption. It's not laziness. It's not stupidity. It's our brain doing what it does best, filling in blanks like a bad substitute teacher. You give it half a sentence, it writes the whole exam paper, upside down. Take marriage, for instance. A wife says, "We should talk tonight." Husband hears, "Oh no, I'm about to be interrogated like a criminal in a spy movie." Reality? She just wants to discuss curtains. But thanks to assumption, he spends all day drafting imaginary apologies for crimes he didn't commit. By the time evening comes, he's so defensive he ends up in an actual fight. Congratulations. The curtain conversation is now a cold war. Now, why do we do it? Why does a grown adult with bills, responsibilities, and Netflix still rely on this fragile thing called assumption? Because it's easy. Assumptions are like fast food for the brain. Quick, tasty, and guaranteed to give you trouble later. Thinking, clarifying, asking, that's like cooking from scratch. Takes effort. But oh, how much healthier the result. And yet, we fall for it. Daily. A study once said, and you can Google this, that over 60% of workplace conflicts begin from a miscommunication, which is basically a polite way of saying, people assumed wrong. The crazy part? Sometimes assumptions actually do work. Once in a while, your guess lands perfectly. You think your partner wants pizza, and guess what? Pizza night. You assume the deadline is Friday, and it is Friday. And for a fleeting moment, you feel like Nostradamus. But for every lucky hit, there are 10 disasters waiting. As Benjamin Franklin once wrote, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Well, by assuming instead of asking, you're preparing to screw up. Assumptions create battles where none were planned. We laugh, but if you look back at the worst days of your life, I bet at least one started with an assumption. Misread a tone, misheard a word, misjudged a person. Even wars in history have been triggered by faulty assumptions. Leaders thinking they won't dare attack, generals assuming they'll surrender by winter. Human history is practically a museum of assumption-based screw-ups. And yet, assumptions are seductive. They make us feel smart. And here's the truth. Assumptions aren't villains. They're shortcuts. Our brains are wired to save energy. Neuroscientists even say the brain spends most of its time predicting, not perceiving. It's basically a storyteller filling gaps. Problem is, stories make great novels, not great decisions. Now imagine a world without assumptions. You ask, you confirm, you clarify. Sure, it feels awkward sometimes. People might even roll their eyes. But guess what? You save yourself from apologizing later. And an awkward question is always cheaper than a major screw-up. Let me drop a quote here. George Bernard Shaw once said, "The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. That illusion? That's assumption. We think we understood. We think they meant what we think they meant. Meanwhile, the truth is standing in the corner waving a red flag." Humor aside, assumption costs are heavy. Money wasted on the wrong project, time lost fixing avoidable mistakes, relationships strained because someone read silence as anger or tiredness as rejection. So what's the point of this rant? It's not to hand you a manual. It's not to say, here, step 1, step 2. You're an adult. You know life isn't that tidy. My point is simpler. Assumptions are part of being human, and we'll never escape them completely. You'll still screw up in life. We all do. But at least it won't be because you left the door open for chaos. It'll be because life is unpredictable. So, don't beat yourself up for the mistakes. We've all got stories. Best is to laugh at them, forgive ourselves, and learn. And that's the real lesson here. Just remember, that small effort of clarifying can save you from turning a minor mix-up into a sitcom episode. So, let's wrap it here. Next time you feel certain without checking, next time you think you just know, stop and remember. Assumption may be the mother of all screw-ups, but awareness is the father of peace. Thank you for listening. Now, go call that friend, check that deadline, and ask your partner if they really did mean tonight. Chances are, you'll laugh together later, and that's worth more than being right.